Okay, so are you ready to dive in? Because today we're tackling the world of recruitment consultants.
Oh, good.
And we're going to get a behind-the-scenes look at what this career is really all about.
Yeah, it's a fascinating field, and we're going to break down what it takes to succeed, the highs and lows, and even how technology is changing the game.
We've got a lot to unpack today, including this really in-depth career guide from RoleCatcher.
It's a great resource.
And they're doing some interesting things with AI and job hunting, which we'll get into a little bit later.
Absolutely, the whole new world out there.
But let's start with the basics here. Who are recruitment consultants?
Right.
I mean, we hear the term, but what do they actually do?
So, in a nutshell, they're like matchmakers for the professional world.
Yeah.
They connect job seekers with the companies that are looking to hire.
Okay, so it's kind of like online dating, but for jobs.
Well, not exactly. It's a lot more involved than that.
Yeah.
We're talking about really understanding the needs of both sides, the specific skills and experience an employer is looking for, and the career aspirations and motivations of the candidate. It's about finding that perfect fit.
So it's more than just matching a skill set on a resume to a job description.
Exactly.
It sounds like it takes a lot of finesse.
It does.
So walk me through what that looks like day to day.
Well, it all starts with really digging deep into those job requirements.
Okay.
Recruitment consultants need to understand what the employer is really looking for, sometimes even things that they haven't specifically put in the job description.
Ah, I see.
And then they have to translate that into a compelling job posting that's going to attract the right kind of talent.
So it's not just about throwing a generic description up on a job board and hoping for the best.
Definitely not. They've got a whole arsenal of sourcing strategies from online platforms and social media to industry events and even something called headhunting.
Headhunting.
Yeah,
That sounds intense.
it can be. Imagine this, sometimes the perfect candidate isn't even actively looking for a new job.
Really?
They might be perfectly happy where they are, but open to the right opportunity, and that's where a skilled headhunter comes in. They identify these passive candidates, and they entice them with a potentially better role.
So they're like talent scouts.
Yeah, exactly.
I like it.
Yeah,
So once they've identified some potential candidates, then comes the interview process, right?
you got it. And we're not talking one and done here. Recruitment consultants might conduct multiple rounds of interviews, phone screens to kind of weed out the initial mismatches, and then more in-depth behavioral interviews to assess skills, experience, personality fit. And of course, there's always reference checking.
To make sure those growing recommendations are legit.
Exactly. They're putting those candidates through the ringer.
Wow, so they really are. It sounds like a lot of responsibility.
It is.
Yeah.
They're responsible for finding the best possible candidate for their clients, and that takes a lot of thoroughness. So once they've gone through that whole process, they'll present a short list of the top contenders to the employer.
That's a tough job. Imagine having to choose between a bunch of highly qualified people knowing that your decision could really impact their career.
Absolutely. It's a high-stakes game for sure, and it doesn't end there. They're also often involved in the salary negotiations, acting as a go-between for the candidate and the employer.
Oh, wow. So they have to be skilled negotiators as well.
Exactly. They help both parties reach an agreement that works for everyone.
So they need to be expert communicators, talent assessors, A&D negotiators.
That's right. And on top of all of that, throughout that entire process, from the initial outreach to the final job offer, they're providing feedback and guidance to the candidates, keeping them informed and supported every step of the way.
It's like they're career coaches almost.
In a way, they are.
No wonder the guide describes the work environment as fast-paced and deadline-driven.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely not your typical 9-to-5 job. You need to be able to think on your feet, juggle multiple searches at once, and really perform under pressure. And did I mention the constant communication and networking?
It sounds like it takes a certain kind of person to thrive in that environment.
It does.
And speaking of evolving work environments, I'm seeing a lot in our research about how online platforms and applicant tracking systems, even AI, are being used in recruitment now.
Yeah.
Is tech taking over?
Technology is definitely changing the landscape, that's for sure. Recruitment consultants need to be tech-savvy, using these tools to streamline their workflow, analyze data, and pinpoint that top talent even more effectively.
So it's not enough to just be a people person anymore. You've got to be a tech whiz, too.
It's a blend. You need that human touch to really connect with candidates, build rapport, truly understand their motivations. But tech is becoming absolutely essential for managing that sheer volume of information and making those really strategic decisions.
This is fascinating. So we've covered a lot of ground, from the day-to-day life of a recruiter to the importance of both people skills and tech skills. But before we dive into the pros and cons, can you give us a quick recap of the key takeaways so far?
Sure. So we've established that recruitment consultants are really the connectors in the professional world,
Yeah.
right? They're the ones identifying the right talent for the right roles,
Right.
and they wear a lot of hats, from deciphering those sometimes cryptic job descriptions
Yeah.
to wooing those passive candidates to conducting all those interviews and negotiating salaries.
That's a lot.
It is. And they need to be masters of both interpersonal skills and technology to navigate this constantly changing landscape.
Master jugglers of people and e-tech.
Exactly.
Got it. But let's be honest, every job has its perks and its pitfalls, right?
Of course.
So what are the biggest draws of going into recruitment as a career? And on the flip side, what are some of the potential downsides?
Okay, well, let's start with the good stuff. One of the biggest motivators for a lot of people considering this career path is definitely the earning potential.
Okay.
According to this RoleCatcher guide, recruitment consultants, particularly those who really excel, can earn some pretty competitive salaries, often with bonuses and commissions based on their performance.
So the harder you work, the more you can earn.
That's the idea.
It sounds like the ultimate meritocracy.
It can be.
But that probably contributes to those long hours and that high-pressure environment we were talking about.
Yeah, it's a trade-off for sure.
Right.
But beyond just the money, there's a real sense of purpose that comes with helping people find these fulfilling careers.
Yeah.
It's about being a part of their professional journey, seeing them land that dream job that really aligns with their goals and aspirations.
I bet it's incredibly rewarding to be a part of those success stories.
It really is. And because recruitment consultants often work across a variety of sectors, they get this sort of backstage pass to all kinds of different industries.
Oh, that's cool.
It is. They build these really diverse professional networks. And that kind of exposure can open doors to other exciting career paths down the line.
So it's a career that keeps you learning and growing.
Absolutely. I can see how that would be a major plus for someone who thrives in those really dynamic environments.
Totally. But let's be real, every job has its downsides.
Correct.
What are some of the challenges that recruitment consultants often face?
Well, as we've kind of touched on, the fast-paced nature of the work can be really demanding. It often means long hours, tight deadlines, constant pressure to meet targets, both in terms of like successful placements and the amount of revenue that you're bringing in.
So not for the faint of heart?
Definitely not. But, for those who thrive under pressure, what about the people who don't necessarily see themselves as salespeople?
Yeah. Is that a non-starter in this field?
That's a great question. Sales and negotiation skills are absolutely essential for recruitment consultants. I mean, they're constantly selling their own services to potential clients, and then they're selling their shortlisted candidates to those same clients. So it's a lot of persuasion, building trust, demonstrating value. Strong interpersonal skills and the ability to kind of influence are non-negotiables for sure.
Okay. And what about this constant need for networking that the RoleCatcher guide talks about?
Oh, yeah.
How important is that in the world of recruitment?
It is absolutely essential. Building and nurturing relationships is really at the core of what they do. Recruitment consultants are constantly expanding their network, connecting with potential candidates, maintaining relationships with employers, attending industry events, you name it. It's all about building that trust and becoming kind of a go-to resource in their specific niche.
Yeah. So it's not a job where you can just clock in and clock out. You're always kind of on, in a sense?
Yeah, in a lot of ways, yes.
Yeah.
But for those who genuinely enjoy connecting with people, building relationships, staying ahead of the curve in their industry, it can be incredibly stimulating and rewarding.
For sure. So we've talked about the day-to-day tasks, the work environment, the pros and cons of recruitment as a career path.
Right.
But let's shift gears a little bit. What does it actually take to break into this field?
Okay.
What are some of those essential skills and qualifications that aspiring recruitment consultants really need to have on their radar?
Well, according to RoleCatcher, a bachelor's degree in a relevant field is often the starting point. So something like human resources or business administration, even psychology.
Okay.
But it's really about those core competencies we've been discussing. Strong communication, the ability to build rapport and trust really quickly, and the resilience to work both independently and as part of a team.
So you're saying a fancy degree isn't enough? You need the soft skills and the personality to back it up.
Employers are looking for candidates with excellent organizational skills, the ability to juggle multiple priorities, work under pressure, and just a really proactive, results-oriented mindset. And, of course, understanding employment laws, industry regulations, ethical recruitment practices, all of that's critical.
It sounds like there's a lot to learn. So once you're in a two-way, how do people typically climb that career ladder in this field?
So RoleCatcher lays out a pretty standard career progression.
Okay.
It often starts with an entry-level position, like a junior recruitment consultant
Yeah.
or a coordinator, a researcher, something like that.
Make-
And as you gain experience and build a track record of successful placements, you might move up to a senior consultant role, taking on more responsibility, maybe managing your own client portfolio, mentoring junior team members.
And then from there, what are some of the more senior roles that someone could aspire to?
Well, you can become a team leader overseeing a group of consultants,
Okay.
or even a recruitment manager responsible for the overall strategy and operations of a recruitment team or an entire department. Some people really thrive in those leadership roles, while others might prefer to stay more hands-on with the recruitment process itself.
So there are options for both those who want to lead and those who want to be more individual contributors.
Exactly. And let's not forget about the entrepreneurial route.
So,
A lot of recruitment consultants who have that entrepreneurial spirit, they end up starting their own agencies, leveraging their network, their expertise, their industry knowledge to build a business from scratch.
that's amazing. It's so interesting to see the different career paths that can come from this one role.
It really is.
You mentioned earlier that technology is rapidly changing the recruitment landscape.
It is.
Can you dive into that a little deeper for me? What are some of the specific ways that technology is transforming how recruitment is done, both for job seekers and for employers?
Well, one of the biggest game changers has been the use of applicant tracking systems,
Oh, yeah, I've heard of those.
or ATS for short.
ATS got it.
You can kind of think of these systems as like digital gatekeepers.
Okay.
They help employers manage that huge flood of applications they get by automating a lot of the recruitment process. It could be everything from just scanning resumes for keywords to scheduling interviews.
So you're saying that in today's job market, your resume might be getting screened by a computer before a human even sees it.
That's the reality of it, which is why it is more important than ever for job seekers to understand how to optimize their applications for these systems.
Yeah, because it's not enough to just have the right skills and experience anymore, right?
Exactly. You've got to present them in a way that these algorithms can understand.
So it's almost like you need to speak robot.
Kind of.
Hmm.
And that's actually where a platform like RoleCatcher can really come in handy.
Okay, how so?
Remember how their guide mentioned something about an AI-powered resume builder?
Yeah.
Well, they use AI to analyze those job descriptions and identify the specific keywords and skills that those ATS systems are looking for. And then their builder helps job seekers tailor their resumes to match those criteria.
So it's like giving your resume a digital makeover to help it stand out from the crowd.
Exactly.
That's really cool. But what about those on the other side of it? How are employers using technology beyond just these ATS systems to streamline their hiring?
So many employers now are using AI-powered tools to analyze candidate profiles, identify those top applicants more quickly, even automate parts of the interview process.
Really?
Yeah, some companies are even using chatbots for those initial screening interviews, or they'll use game-based assessments to evaluate things like cognitive skills or problem-solving abilities.
It's amazing how much technology has changed the game for both sides.
It really has.
But it makes you wonder about that human element, you know?
Yeah.
If everything becomes automated, where does that leave the personal touch in recruitment?
That's such a crucial question. And it brings us right back to the heart of what we've been talking about. While technology is an incredibly powerful tool for efficiency,
Sure.
recruitment is ultimately about people.
It's about connecting with another human being, understanding their aspirations, finding those roles where they can really thrive.
Exactly. And those are not things a computer can replicate, at least not yet anyway.
That's good to know, because I was starting to get a little worried there.
I hear you. But while it is essential to adapt to these new technologies and embrace them,
Right.
it's equally important for those working in recruitment to maintain that human-centric approach, to be those trusted advisors and guides.
Right, because you're not just dealing with data points, you're dealing with people's lives and their careers.
That's right. It's about striking that balance, leveraging technology where it makes sense, but never losing sight of that human element.
It's about using technology to enhance those human connections, not to replace them.
Absolutely. Building rapport, understanding motivations, providing that personalized support, those are all things that require empathy, emotional intelligence, those uniquely human qualities that algorithms just can't replicate yet.
That's a relief to hear. So as AI and automation keep evolving those skills, empathy, communication, that ability to really connect with someone on a human level, those are going to become even more valuable in the recruitment world.
I think you're exactly right, because at the end of the day, people want to work with people they trust and connect with.
Hmm.
Technology can definitely streamline that process, but it's those human connections that really seal the deal.
That is such a great takeaway for anyone listening who's considering a career in recruitment. Those human skills are your superpower.
Couldn't agree more.
This deep dive into the world of recruitment consultants has been really eye-opening. I mean, we've explored what it takes to succeed in this fast-paced, high-stakes field and how technology is completely changing the landscape.
It's true. We've learned it takes a really unique blend of skills to thrive in this profession, from understanding the ins and outs of different industries to really mastering persuasion and negotiation,
Right.
and of course, navigating that ever-changing world of recruitment technology.
And perhaps most importantly, we've been reminded that despite this rise in automation, the human touch, it still matters. It's still paramount in the world of recruitment.
It really is.
So whether you're a seasoned recruiter or just starting out, never underestimate the power of genuine connection. And for anyone out there on the job hunt, remember that platforms like RoleCatcher can be super valuable allies, providing you with the tools and the insights to navigate this new world of recruitment.
Exactly. It's about using every tool at your disposal, both technological and interpersonal, to stand out from the crowd and really achieve those goals.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Well, this deep dive has given you that backstage pass to the world of recruitment, but the real journey, it's all yours to take. Until next time, keep those applications coming, and remember, you got this.